Okay, so assalamu alaikum. Now, any garment that's not fully investigated and fully really looked at by open vision, then it can end up having flaws, especially when you go buying online or you go on buying from a shop purely based on the picture, and you're sort of like deceived by the picture. Often it happens that something will come along. All right, something will come along and will really captivate you by the image, but in reality it's nothing at all like that. And this is one of the risks of online shopping, unless you are fully trustful of the person selling you the garment and explaining what it is that the garment entails. Now, in this day and age, you'd get very few people who will openly admit to flaws with any garment that they're trying to sell. Obviously, it's not to their advantage to go and pinpoint the faults in a garment. And one of the teachings of Alhamdulillah Islam is that you openly show to the person what it is that the garment will, the kind of problems that anything that you're selling, the kind of problems that you can face in it. So if there's flaws in anything that you're trying to market, then it's your responsibility. It is your responsibility to make the buyer aware of those minor flaws. Naya, you can come inside now. Sadly, Muslims have given themselves bad name, where we can't blame people of other faiths or religions because we don't know anything about their religion. But as far as Islam goes, I can vouch for that anything that you sell, you are meant to openly express if there's any flaws with it. Now that makes, for some people, that will make selling very difficult, because in a way you're stepping on your own toes, and you're dishing your own product that you're trying to sell. But ultimately, this is something that is a wonderful trait in Islam, and if anybody adheres to that, they will find many benefits. And I don't know how far I am able to do this, but I try to do this in the best of my capability. So if there's any mistakes that I make along the process, then I do ask for forgiveness from all my viewers who get sort of dragged into if I'm trying to sell something or show something in a pretext of what it is. So if there's any mistakes that I make like that, I promise you that this is purely down to a fault on my own part and has no basis in our religion, and it is a weakness of human beings. It's a weakness in our nature that we go and try and hide or conceal our faults. So the whole lecture behind this particular dress is that I had actually bought these purely based on price and the look of the picture, and it was nothing at all like this. If you go onto the forum or if you go onto my Facebook page, there will be a picture linked to what the original of this garment was. So often, like I mentioned, often we are sort of persuaded by images, and we go buying according to images, and in reality the item that we're buying is nothing at all like that. And this is exactly what the case was in this particular garment. I was not I'm being very honest and sincere with this, because this is one of the pitfalls of online shopping. And if you're ever I don't know, convinced in buying something which looks very appealing but then ends up being nothing to your expectation, then think of it this way, that it's not the end of the world, and there are ways around fixing that problem. So this is the whole purpose of these teachings, is to show that sometimes there are flaws in things. None of us are perfect. We're human beings. Perfect is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then human nature is such that we go and find faults even in the creator's creation. And who am I to say that I'm perfect? I'm nowhere perfect, and we try and do our best to reach as much perfection as possible. So even when there is flaws in the item that you've bought, don't be disillusioned by the fact that this is, something that you bought and it's not repairable. There's always a solution, and there's always ways around it. So these garments, they came not to our expectations. I'll show you just one of the originals.
Daddy, it's very comfortable on the floor.
Hey?
It's very comfortable on this cake. And I thought,
Oh, don't talk. If he's thrown it on the floor, it doesn't matter. Okay, so these garments actually came looking like this. Now the design on this is very pretty, and the designers have put a certain degree of work in this, but they haven't done it justice. Now when you're doing a layered outfit like this, which is a gypsy style dress, there are multi layers, 1 2 3 4 5 6, there's 7 layers in this, and each of these layers becomes bigger at the bottom than it is at the top, and each of these layers are supposed to have lots and lots of, you know, to give this outfit a proper look, you would need to create lots of gathers. Now they've sort of saved on the fabric, and they've gone on straight lines.